When Battlefield 2042 was first announced, it promised a triumphant return to the series' hallmark of large-scale sandbox warfare. With 128 player matches, futuristic weaponry, dynamic weather, and the introduction of Portal mode, expectations were sky high. Fans looked forward to a worthy successor to beloved titles like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Bad Company 2. Instead, what followed was one of the most disappointing and contentious launches in recent gaming memory. EA and DICE pitched 2042 as the next evolution of warfare, complete with near-future technology and massive chaotic battles. However, when the game launched in November 2021, players quickly realized that something was deeply wrong. It was riddled with bugs, performance issues, and broken mechanics, leaving the community disillusioned. Foundational features were absent. A functioning scoreboard, server browser, and in-game voice chat were missing. Worse, the new specialist system, which replaced the classic class-based setup, felt like a misstep. It disrupted team dynamics and left players feeling disconnected from the cooperative identity that defined earlier games. The shift to specialists also mimicked hero shooter trends from games like Apex Legends and Overwatch, moving Battlefield away from its roots. Almost immediately, Battlefield 2042 became infamous. Bug compilations spread across YouTube and social media, refund petitions gained traction, and forums were flooded with negative feedback. The gap between expectation and reality created a tidal wave of criticism, cementing its place as one of the most poorly received AAA launches in years. One of the most painful aspects of 2042's failure was the clear disconnect between DICE and its community. Longtime fans felt ignored. The removal of class-based gameplay, the lack of meaningful environmental destruction, and oversized, sparse maps suggested that developers had lost sight of what made Battlefield great. These design decisions alienated the core fanbase and betrayed the franchise's legacy. Even Portal mode, which allowed for custom game types using assets from classic titles, couldn't salvage the situation. While creative on paper, it felt more like a gimmick than a meaningful feature. It lacked long-term support, with few updates and limited new content. Personally, I don't buy a brand new title just to relive older ones. I expect something new, refined, and complete. Adding to the confusion was Hazard Zone, a high-stakes, squad-based mode designed to compete with extraction shooters. I honestly never understood why this game mode was even a thing. It failed to resonate with players and was quietly abandoned only a few short months after release. Its lack of identity and depth made it feel like a rushed experiment rather than a fully realized game mode. Initially, DICE's silence only deepened the community's frustration. Eventually, they began releasing updates, fixing bugs, reworking maps, and reinstating a class-like system. While these efforts showed commitment, the timing made it feel too little too late. For many, the damage was irreversible. Reports even suggested that the game had just 15 months of actual development time, further explaining its unpolished state. The fallout from Battlefield 2042 didn't just impact sales, it tarnished the franchise's reputation. The player base quickly dwindled, with many returning to older entries like Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4, which ironically saw a revival thanks to 2042's shortcomings. These older titles, despite their age, offered a more satisfying and complete experience. To their credit, DICE did make a genuine effort to fix the game with substantial updates, but trust once lost is hard to win back. Personally, I somehow managed to sink over 250 hours into 2042, not because I was having an amazing time, but more out of a desire to recapture that classic Battlefield feeling. Even though it's easily the weakest entry in the franchise, I'll admit that there are moments where it can still be fun. Games like Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2 struck a careful balance between chaos and cohesion. Team-based mechanics, thoughtfully designed maps, and tight gunplay gave players a sense of purpose and camaraderie. 2042's design, by contrast, felt disjointed and impersonal. The lack of defined roles and meaningful teamwork left many feeling uninvested. It came off as a weak attempt to appeal to Call of Duty fans rather than staying true to Battlefield's identity. Beyond launch, Battlefield 2042 suffered from a content drought. New maps, weapons, and seasonal updates trickled in slowly, failing to maintain player interest. This sluggish post-launch support further added to the game's decline, as players moved on to more engaging and consistent alternatives. The real tragedy of Battlefield 2042 isn't just its flaws, it's the potential it wasted. It had all the building blocks to be a generational title, but poor planning, rushed development, and a lack of vision let it all fall apart. It now stands as a cautionary tale in AAA game development. No amount of flashy trailers or brand loyalty can redeem a broken product. And sometimes chasing trends isn't innovation, it's just forgetting what made your game special in the first place. Looking ahead, there's cautious optimism for Battlefield 6. From what's been revealed so far, it seems like a genuine effort is being made to wash away the bad taste 2042 left in players' mouths. The return of classes and a modern day setting are promising signs. Despite my initial skepticism after 2042 and my doubting that DICE can deliver, I can't help but feel a small bit of excitement. If this next title captures even a fraction of what made Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 legendary, it might just restore faith in the series. But if it ends up as another failure, I fear Battlefield may not survive another misstep. EA has a reputation for shelving underperforming IPs, and one more disaster could mark the end of a franchise that once defined large-scale multiplayer shooters. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, leave a comment with your thoughts or experiences with Battlefield 2042, and subscribe for more content like this. Your support really helps the channel grow, and I've got plenty more coming soon. See you next time.